The following is the extract of a course linked in the description.
Alright, guys, let's now look into keyboard controller, MIDI keyboard controller. So that is the equipment. You don't need that to really start because you can do you know, most of it or a lot of it with a mouse. But if you really want to speed up your workflow, especially let's say you have an idea in your head and you really want to lay it down really quick, then the keyboard controller is what you will need. But at the very beginning, myself, a lot of it was just done by with the mouse. But I can't go back to it because it just doesn't really make sense. It's just a lot faster with a keyboard to trying to find an idea, right? Instead of clicking here and there on the softwares. So yeah, it really doesn't make a lot of sense for me at this point to go back to the clicking. So I'm gonna show you a few MIDI keyboard controllers that are recommended, and some manufacturers as well, and just talk about it a little bit more. So the first one that we have here is a Kai. This particular model over here, the MPK Mini, seems to be one of I think, the most sold keyboard controller or something of this generation, something like that. So, but the thing with that one, I noticed that, I actually didn't have this one personally, but just looking at reviews and talking with people that actually had it, the pad seems to be great, right? Because Akai actually uh, did, back in the days, I think they still make it, but they were the manufacturers of the MPC, and MPC were um, the piece of hardware that a lot of the producer back in the days were using for sampling, right? So they have a lot of history with making pads, and this translates here. So the pads are really great, but it seems like the keys are not that great, or they're a little bit too light, or something along those lines. So it really depends on what you value the most. For me, really the pads, I don't use those, right? So a great feel for the keys where was really important for me, right? You're also gonna find that it does have other buttons available here, so other functions. You might want to look into if those functions are something that works for you. So it could be arpeggiator and all those things, those kind of chords, all those things. So you might want to look into if those other functions work for you. But I would say for me, really, the basis of it is um, having a great keyboard feel. And right now we're looking at the version that's about 25 keys, right? But depending on what you're looking for, and how you're gonna do it, there are keyboards that have more keys, so it goes to 49. There are 32 as well, up to 88. I think those are the bigger keyboard, but I don't know if it's one of this specific particular model over here at 88. But if you're looking for something with more keys, it's definitely doable. This one over here, the 25 keys, is great for moving. Again, I like this because I travel a lot, so it's a lot easier for me to carry it when I travel. Another thing regarding the function that you have here, even though sometimes you're gonna have they have buttons available here, you need to keep in mind that they might not work right away when you plug it in with the DAW that you're using. So in our case over here with FS Studio, right? Because in order for it to happen, usually what happens before that is the manufacturer over here, or Kai, is gonna tend to have some type of relationship with FS Studio and trying to make sure that they configure it that way. So some buttons will work, maybe other won't, or maybe the way you need to make it work is you need to configure it manually. At that point, for me, I think it's just personally, it's just a little bit too much work for me, right? And a lot of it I can access it with the mouse or with the keyboard on on the computer, right? So I don't really spend too much time going and trying to configure it there anymore, right? So this is okay. Let's move up to the other one over here, which is Arturia. And Arturia I really like, and you're gonna see that I'm using over this course. I'm using a lot of their products. I just like the design of it. Uh, Several times I have contacted their company for support, and they've been really great, really quick to get back to me with the information that I needed. So, I, I just have like so many great things to talk about Arturia. So Arturia over here, I really like the design. I really like the key feel. So this is the keyboard that I have, and actually, it's a different color. I don't know if they have it here. I have a black orange. So there are different colors of this one over here. So I have a different one with that is black orange, but it's basically this model over here, but just a different color. So with Arturia, I really like the key feel, but the pads, I don't use the pads personally. You could use it to do a couple things, but some people that actually have the Yokai and the Arturia just say that what, it's not the best. The Yokai pads are probably the best there, right? But like I say, I don't use that. Those pads over here, you can use it for drumming, but you could also use it for other functions, right? But then again, if you need to configure you need to configure it to work with your computer at that point. So you could say, you know what, I want this particular over here pad over here to switch channel, right? That is possible, or to switch mixer channel and all that. That is definitely possible. Or I want over here this one to stop, this one to play, this one to record. You can actually do that, but again, at that point, just a little bit too much work. I prefer just to do it on the computer. I can press space, um, the space bar. I can press R to record. Those kind of things. So really depends there. But one thing that I really wish this will have actually is actually dedicated button, right? And that will work directly. So a play, a record, a stop, and maybe like a back to beginning. If that was there, and you know you could make it work right away, that would be great. Because over here, if you're using this for play button and record, you cannot use it for pads, right? So that's where you have a little bit of that issue. But Arturia, great product. They have several other keyboards with different number of keys. So if that's what you're looking for, go ahead and take a look at it. You can definitely have it on Amazon. I'm just on Amazon right now, but depending on where you're watching this, your country and everything, just uh, you know make sure to look into your distributor there, and see if you could definitely get it there. And the price as well is definitely great. So let's move up here. M Audio, it used to be really reliable. I mean, I think they still are. But I just think that there's probably like other. So okay, so what I would say is a little bit back in the days. When I say back in the days, probably like 10 years ago, and maybe even more, maybe 20, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Um, they were probably having the better share of the market, right? So you had their product pretty much everywhere. They were doing, I think they do pretty much like keyboards, probably. I don't think they do microphones, but they do quite a few things that has to do with audio recording. but they had a bigger share. But right now, just because you have more competition, more people coming on board, Arturia, I believe, I never had, I knew of Arturia back in the days, right? Like you would hear of it, but they weren't doing keyboard, or I wasn't aware of it, or maybe their marketing wasn't that great for it. But now, you have just so many other people that just on the scene over here. So um, it's it's a little bit more competitive, but they remain a company that's still reliable. So I would say go ahead, have a look at what they offer on their website, and see if there is something there that works a little bit more for you, right? But M Audio is another one. Okay. Over here, this is a little bit of a wild card. Native instruments. So native instruments actually they were primarily at the beginning virtual instruments. So they had the complete software, complete bundle, and basically with that complete bundle, you had a bunch of synths that were coming with it, right? So, and they still do have it, but now they also have controllers, right, that you could use. But you need to keep in mind that the controllers of native instruments, um, they are great if you actually use their virtual instrument as well, right? So the integration with the virtual instrument is great. Maybe you like it for their key fit or any other things, but I would say if you go into that territory, it's probably because you also using other other products of native instruments and you want that tight integration, then that would be great, right? So you have they have the machine software that usually as well is used for Beast. I don't use that personally. I've seen a few videos and I don't really see how I can integrate it into my workflow. It's not something that really speak to me. But if you have like some of their other um, software and every over here, this is what's gonna work great. So have a look at this and try to see if that works for you. Another one over here, again, another wild card, another company that I'm gonna mention is gonna be Novation, right? So Novation, especially this model over here, it's something that came up that been introduced just recently, and this particular keyboard over here, the Novation FL key, is made specifically for FL Studio, right? So all of those buttons over here, or most of those buttons over here, are gonna work well or very well with FL Studio. You can change mixers, channel pan, channel volume, all those things, channel rack over here. You can do a lot with this particular keyboard over here with FL Studio. So if you really want that tight integration with FL Studio, that's going to be the keyboard for you. They have two different mapping over here, one for 25 and another one for 37 keys. So that is what you have when you actually have the 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 website over here, right? If I had to select again, maybe today, maybe I will go ahead and maybe try this, right? Just because of that tight integration, but with the Arturia product for me, really, it's working so great that I might just select this again, right? And again, for me, size and weight is a factor, so I need to see if the 25 keys over here would be lighter and take less space than actually the Arturia. But that would be my two option. If I needed to select today another one, it will either be the FLQ over here for the tight integration, or just over here the Arturia for the overall experience. That's what I would do. Okay, so let's leave it here and let's move into the next video. Guys, if you enjoy the content, share, like, and subscribe to the channel. I also wanted to let you know about my free mastering mini course that's going to be available there in the description. You're also going to get with that free banger drums kit, right? With some crazy samples. Basically, you're gonna be able to make some crazy drum patterns. Okay, so the link is gonna be in the description. It's gonna let you know how you're gonna have access to it, and I will talk to you in another video.